Hello, I'm Mr. Hartgrave, and this is the ultimate Marvel Strike Force meta guide for August of 2023. This video is part of my beginners playlist, so if you are new to Marvel Strike Force or new to this channel, this is a great place to start. Right here in this playlist, you're going to find my beginners guides, you're going to find some resource guides, you're going to find all kinds of helpful information here, and the rest of my channel as well is actually highly curated. Whenever anything is no longer relevant, I remove it from the channel, so I do encourage you Marvel Strike Force players to dig around on the channel and see what you can find. Now, I've been playing daily for 5 years plus Marvel Strike Force, and I've been giving advice on YouTube for almost like 3 years now. So a lot of this information that I'm going to give out is very tempered, and this is kind of where it all starts, is right here in this unlock guide and my safe to build graphic. And let's go ahead and show that now. So this is the safe to build graphic. It's linked down below, and this is kind of the root of all of my Marvel Strike Force information. This is what the end game is using at a very high level. It's what I'm using personally. It's what people around me are using. So it's not just me as well. It's everybody else who's up here. We all kind of end up having the same rosters, focusing on the meta characters. Now in this guide, I'm going to be going through all the characters that are shown on this infographic, how to unlock them, what level to build them to, what game modes they're good for, what red stars you should be targeting on them, and Isotope 8, the Isotope 8 that I use on them. Maybe not necessarily what other people are using, but this is what I use, and it has worked for me for as long as Isotope 8 has been around, right? I usually get my picks pretty correct, at least for me. Now, everything here is based on this safe to build graphic, so get familiar with that. The link is down below, as well as timestamps to all the different teams I'm going to talk about. I'm going to break down most of this information by team because it makes more sense to talk about Isotope 8 when we talk about the team as a whole that I use the characters on. For some blanket information, for every character I'm going to talk about, every character on this guide, I would recommend getting all of the tier 4s, every single tier 4, with maybe a few exceptions, from the top to the bottom. Usually the more important, the more meta a character is, the higher up on the graphic it goes, unless there's a caveat there. And then the least important is down here at the bottom. As you can see, the Apocalypse unlock characters have kind of fallen off a bit, but they got to stick around because you do need to bring them to level 90 and tier 16 if you want to fully unlock Apocalypse, as well as get them up to Isotope 8 level 5. But that's really like a different video. Also, if it's not on this list, you can build it up to tier 15 and no one's going to make fun of you. Tier 15 is absolutely safe. Orange gear becomes less and less of an issue as you go on. So feel free to do whatever you want to do, you know, always do whatever you want to do, but build anything up to tier 15 is fine. It's just when you start building characters up to level 95, when you start putting tier 16, 17, and 18 on characters, and I don't know how long this video is going to be around for, tier 19, that's where we have to be more careful about where we spend our resources, and that's why I've developed this guide. We are going to kick all this off talking about Masters of Evil. Now, Masters of Evil is best used in Cosmic Crucible, and a safe level to build them all to is level 95. Maybe even, definitely even tier 18 for Kang, but maybe even tier 18 for Ultron, Titanium, Moonstone, and Absorbing Man, depending on what your overall plan is for Dark Dimension 6. But definitely could consider taking these characters, you know, up to tier 16 for Dark Dimension 5. I would definitely take them all up to tier 15 at an absolute base minimum. And as for red stars, Kang the Conqueror is probably maybe the best character in the entire game for your gold promo credits. Most of the other extremely meta characters in this game require dark promo credits. Ultron's one of them on this team, although I wouldn't say you need more than 5 red stars on him ever. But for Kang, absolutely must have 7 red stars on him someday. So that is a hard recommendation. The rest of the team is fine at 5 red stars. Most characters in the game, 5 red stars is fine, but Kang is absolutely gold promo credit fodder. You need to have him at 7 red stars. Now, as far as unlocking them, unlocking Kang, is up to random chance right now. He is not farmable, right? In any way, shape, or form, you cannot farm Kang. You unlock Ultron via Dark Dimension 2, so you can get him very early on. I would definitely recommend that new players make it part of their initial goal set to go get Ultron, now more than ever. As far as Titania, she is not available at this time. It's a fairly new team, and they were really pretty harsh with how they did the unlocks. Same thing with Moonstone, not available at this time. Absorbing Man is on a node. You need to be level 70 to get into the hard version of the Nexus, but once you do, you're going to be able to farm Absorbing Man there, which is something else because he's actually the least useful member of the team, kinda, I guess. I guess some people like to put him on War Defense. He does have some utility as a pre-taunting tank, but really the rest of the team does a lot more than he does. If there was any character that you could skip, it would be Absorbing Man. And actually, I've run the team without Moonstone, and it runs pretty fine without Moonstone as well. So if you have Kang, Ultron, and Titania, you basically have the team. But if you can add Moonstone and Absorbing Man, you can do a little bit more in Cosmic Crucible. This is the single best Cosmic Crucible offense team right now, especially with the way that they've changed the rules around in Season 4 of Cosmic Crucible, which is the season that we're in as I record this video. Masters of Evil can pretty much beat any room other than BiFrost with its raid bonuses. So pretty great in that regard. As for Isotope 8, I would recommend Striker for Kang. He just hits harder that way. Striker for Ultron. I'm going to pick Raider 1000% for Titania. By the way, if you want to argue with any of my Isotope 8 selections, or if you need more information on why I picked what I picked, look around for my, I'm gonna link the playlist down in the description below as well. My What You Need to Know video series will go in more detail about why I picked these selections, but just know that these are working absolutely phenomenally for me. If they weren't, I would switch them around. For Moonstone, it's Skirmisher, and for Absorbing Man, I went with Fortifier. BiFrost, once again, we have another team that you want to build to level 95 or even tier 18. They are best not only in Cosmic Crucible right now as a defense team, but even without that, there's still going to be some utility for this team in Cosmic Crucible, even if they don't have their raid tags activated like they do right now. But this is primarily a raid team. This is a raid team, but it is so good that it does have some utility outside of raids. As far as how to unlock this, Loki is really great. Maybe one of the better beginner characters at this point, because you can get a lot of Loki shards by linking your account to the Marvel Strike Force website. So that's pretty nice. Plus you have some other ways to farm him as well. You can get him through the raid store and the Gamma raid orb, which is pretty nice. So you got a couple of ways to get him there. God, I thought he used to be on a node, but I guess he got pulled off a node. What happened with Loki? All right. Vol is not available, not farmable at this time, which is a damn shame, because this is another character that you're going to want to put 7 red stars on. Right up there with Kang. Vol is another character for gold promo credits, because for whatever reason they did not make Vol dark promo credits. So that's great news. So you're going to want 7 red stars on Vol as well. Maybe a little less urgent than Kang, because I don't know how they're going to make Vol farmable, how long that's going to take. It might take forever. But by the time you finally get, enough stars on Vol, you're going to want them to have 7 red stars. Beta Ray Bill is not farmable, way too new at this time. 5 red stars is fine. Loki Teen is not farmable, 5 red stars. Sylvie, really not farmable, might be heavily gated. I don't really know why she's not that amazing on the team. Now this team does run perfectly fine with just like Vol, Loki, and Loki Teen. If you have Loki, Vol, and Loki Teen, and you pair it up with like Morgan Le Fay and Deathpool, you can run that through incursion raids 1 through 4. Difficulties, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, probably even 1.5. But by the time you get to difficulty 1.6, you will want the full team available. Now, as for Isotope 8, I like Skirmisher on Loki. I like Striker on Vol. I like Striker on Beta Ray Bill, Skirmisher on Loki Teen, and Skirmisher on Sylvie. As for Dark Dimension 6, I firmly back, I in fact demand that you take Vol to tier 18 for Dark Dimension 6. Vol is one of the single best characters in the game and totally worthy of a tier 18. If you want to take Sylvia to tier 18, I think that's a fine idea. As far as Beta Ray Bill Loki or Loki Teen, I don't really see much point in it, although if you wanted to do it, I guess that's fine, but the team runs perfectly fine with them at their normal levels, the most important character on this team being Vol. Rebirth. Rebirth is primarily a raid team. It did have some usefulness in Cosmic Crucible back when it had some buffs applied to it, but we're kind of out of that now. And it's kind of really just a raid team, which is where it kind of has always been. The time to really heavily invest in Rebirth is kind of past. We're kind of past that. I know like 3 months ago, I was like, build Rebirth. Come on, guys, let's do it. But now I'm like, if you didn't do it, it's probably okay. I would still build them all to level 95. And I would still drop tier 18 on Captain America. Captain America is actually a huge help in the global section of Dark Dimension 6. Him paired with Apocalypse, being able to feed that energy to Apocalypse is actually kind of OP, and I don't think I'd be doing as well in it as I am now if I didn't bring him in. So how do you unlock them? Now, Captain America is great. Captain America is available to all new players and still a really big part of my beginner's advice, which I will probably update soon. My last beginner's guide, as the time I'm recording this video, is a little dated, but the advice in there, it still pretty much holds up, and that is, go get Captain America. He's on the Nexus 1-3. He's extremely available. So is Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier is also available to new players. He's on Heroes 6-3. So that's pretty great that we have 2 of the members that are available to everybody. Now, it's not as good news with Captain Carter, U.S. Agent, and Agent Venom. Captain Carter at this time is still not available, although I do believe that she is coming to the Cosmic Crucible store. I think that's what was said. I don't know. Correct me down in the comments down below, but she's going to be farmable soon and not in a horrible way. U.S. Agent is actually in the raid store right now, which is not the best, but it's okay. He is somewhat available. I would definitely say new players should farm this team. And with Captain Carter, unfortunately, that's locked behind level 60, but if she's in the Cosmic Crucible store, it's certainly better than not being anywhere like Agent Venom. So Agent Venom is still like totally unfarmable right now. I'm hoping they just put him on a node or put him in the I don't think he's going to be in the Blitz store because we just got somebody in there. I don't know where Agent Venom's going to go, but I hope it's somewhere friendly because this is a fantastic beginner's team. If you are new to this game and you have these characters, I would totally back all my gear into this team and use it to its fullest effect for the new player experience. As far as red stars, 7 red on Captain America is great. It's really pretty much where the red stars need to be. Him and Captain Carter. Everybody else is good at 5. But if there was one character I was going to have, if there's one character I would actually have at 7 red, it would be Captain Carter. But I like Captain America at 7 red as well, since he's like the character that I would recommend taking up to tier 18. And the bigger he is, the more effective this team is going to be in whatever game mode that you're taking it into. As far as Isotope 8, I like Fortifier on Captain America. I especially like Fortifier Isotope Blue level 5. Fortifier actually becomes a really good class at level 5 blue. Now, I know that is some end game advice, dudes, but when you get there to start, when you are able to put Isotope 8 level 5 blue on characters that are not for Apocalypse, Fortifiers are kind of fun because they get drained every time they have barrier, and like they always have barrier. Really cool. So very, very interesting with that. Winter Soldier, I like for Striker, Captain Carter Healer, U.S. Agent Skirmisher, and Agent Venom Raider. If we're talking about Rebirth, then we got to talk about Invaders. Basically the same thing. This is a very raid-focused team. I would build them all to a level 95, and I might even take a few of them to tier 18. Which characters are good for tier 18, you ask? Primarily Iron Fist World War II and maybe even Nick Fury still, although having Black Cat in the game does devalue Nick Fury a little bit. And in fact, this whole team is kind of getting devalued a little fast. I don't know how long this is going to be the premier skill raid team. In fact, we do have some information that we're getting this like secret defender team coming in that is all probably going to be skill with like Mockingbird and Ronin. I don't know. I don't know, guys. It's a little shaky here. What's going on with Invaders? I'm not backing Nick Fury as hard as I once was like 3 months ago. So my beginner's advice might change. Maybe it's not so important to unlock Nick Fury, because to unlock Nick Fury, you need to build up a bunch of Kree minions or get stars on them. And that really, really sucks. It's not fun. It's not fun advice. So I'm kind of hoping that they do downplay this team a little bit more. Nick Fury's no longer the best skill legendary in the game. So there's that. As far as the other characters, I don't think we have any farmability on them yet. It's still a very new team, so they are not farmable, although I do believe they should be becoming farmable. Them and Rebirth should have some farmability methods coming up soon, but right now we just don't have them. I guess the best farmability that we have on this team is that right now you can buy these characters in the month-long meta store, I guess we want to call it. Yeah, let's call it the meta store. Why not? We're making up names. So yeah, they have some limited farmability in that regard. I don't know. As far as red stars here, I do still fully back 7 red on Nick Fury. He definitely gets better the more red stars he has, but I wouldn't focus on red stars on the rest of this team. But dropping a 7 red on Nick Fury is going to pay some dividends. Still, we're a little past its prime. I can't recommend that as hard. I would recommend Captain America over Nick Fury, but Nick Fury still a pretty solid 7 red character with those gold promos, which are becoming looser and looser every day. They're giving out more and more gold promos, so we don't have to think so hard about who we put them on. As far as classes, I go Skirmisher on Nick Fury, Skirmisher on Iron Fist World, Captain America World War II, and Skirmisher on Union Jack. Feel free to argue with me down in the comments below. I have been saying for a minute now that Death Seed is probably the most stable. It's definitely the most stable out of all the Horseman teams, and it might even be the most stable out of all of our current raid teams. I really, really like how valuable Death Seed has been in this game, especially when you remove Psylocke and put in Apocalypse. This is a very, very good team. It is best in raids. However, it has a ton of value in Cosmic Crucible and has held that value now for a very long time. I would definitely build this team to level 95, and I would highly consider taking as many members as possible to tier 18. However, we got a bit of a problem there with the mutant gear crunch. There is a pretty heavy mutant gear crunch that we're still going through because they required both this team and Unlimited X-Men to be at a high level last year. And it was just too many mutant characters, right? So I'm still feeling that gear crunch. I have taken Nemesis to tier 18. If you're going to take one member of Death Seed, we'll take Apocalypse. But if you're going to take one more mutant besides Apocalypse into Dark Dimension 6, I would take Nemesis. He's extremely valuable. His percentage damage is invaluable in the global nodes of Dark Dimension 6. I can say that from firsthand experience. And I don't know, I'm seriously toying with putting a 7th red star on Nemesis as well. I really like him as a character. He's one of my favorite kits out there. As far as red stars on Archangel, we're getting into one of our first Dark promo credits characters that we're talking about. And red stars on Archangel kind of suck. It's kind of mid. I'm not really into it. I was doing it because I had to put these Dark promo credits somewhere, but stopping short at 6 red stars, I could have stopped short at 5 red stars. I would have the same Archangel basically. Here, I may as well drop this information right here. Look, 6 red stars is basically the same as 5 red stars. 7 red stars is really good, but I wouldn't take anybody to 6 red stars that I wasn't eventually planning on taking to 7 red stars, or at least highly considering it. So there's that. Now, here's another problem. Right now in Cosmic Crucible Season 4, we have this BiFrost problem in room number 2, where they have all their raid bonuses. Death Seed can beat them. Straight up Death Seed can beat them, but only if they're the same power or higher. So you might need to put some extra red stars on them. You might need to add a few extra gear tiers to them if you want that counter to keep working. By the way, it's a very simple counter. You just hit the special from Magneto on Sylvie, and then you kill Vol. If you can do that, the team falls apart. But if you can't do that, if your Death Seed isn't big enough, then your team is going to fall apart. Your whole round of Cosmic Crucible is going to fall apart. Your whole life might fall apart. All right, as far as farmability, we do have some farmability here. I believe Nemesis is not farmable, so that sucks. Archangel is a Scourge release, and Scourge releases are about to change entirely, so I don't really know what to say about that. That's going to have to be like its own... I'm going to have to redo all my videos. All my Scourge videos I'm probably going to have to redo when they roll out the new versions of these Scourges. So there's that. Scourge release. I do have a Scourge playlist on this channel. If you want to check that out, that kind of tells you how to unlock these Scourge characters from last year. I think it's best to leave it at that. I could try to give the information here, but we have a lot of stuff to cover, so I'm going to keep moving. Dark Beast is available on a hard node on the Nexus Hard 2.9. Got to be level 70 for that. It's unfortunate, but I would definitely farm Dark Beast once you get there. Magneto is getting actually... I think easier to get a hold of every day. Magneto, it's either 5 Brotherhood or X-Men characters, any mix of that at 4 yellow stars to unlock Magneto. So you have the original Brotherhood, which I really wouldn't recommend building. Wolverine is kind of a free one, so I would recommend using Wolverine as one of those for new players who do not have Magneto unlocked yet, because you get him through the daily objectives. Psylocke is in there, so that's good. You can get you can actually farm Psylocke on Cosmic Node 3.6, and then you got some other mutants that are... Gambit's available in the Cosmic Crucible store and very good. Actually, as much of Unlimited X-Men as possible that you can get to unlock Magneto would be great. They do count for that. So that's going to help you more than any other character. They are the most meta characters, would be the Unlimited X-Men at this point. But it's kind of random which character shards you get as a new player, so I don't know what you're going to build into. The safest things to build into would be the things on this list, Unlimited X-Men. But yeah, if you end up building Wolverine up a little bit, there's worse things you can do, especially since his stars are kind of free. You're going to get 7 yellow stars on him over time. And then, yeah, finally, Psylocke. That's another good one to build because she's a part of this team and she's very, very good. Well, no, I didn't mean to see very, very good. She's not as bad as the other members of these teams that we kick off these teams. Like, she's not as bad as Scarlet Witch, right? But she's not good. You're going to kick her off for Apocalypse. So I don't know. All right, let's talk about these Isotope 8. For Nemesis Striker, Archangel Striker, Dark Beast is your Skirmisher. And then now you can set everybody up. Let me pull this back. This is a real team one. So Dark Beast is your Skirmisher, and then everybody else can be Strikers. However, I like Magneto as a Skirmisher for the extra 50% focus because, guys, what did I just tell you about this BiFrost thing? You have to hit Sylvie with his special, and his special has to pull off every single buff that's on here, and it's a lot. And it has to throw on the ability block and disrupted. If you can't do that, then Magneto is useless. Your counter's worthless. Your account is worthless. And you're doomed. So, yeah, I've went level 5 Skirmisher on Magneto. I've never looked back. I've never needed a Striker on him. I auto through my Incursion 1.5 nodes, soon to be Incursion 1.6 nodes every day. There it is, guys. That's everything you needed to know about Deathseed, but we're afraid to ask. I'm going to mention this right up top before I forget, like I did with Masters of Evil. So Knowhere and Masters of Evil are both teams that are part of this year's Scourges. With Masters of Evil, it's for Nova, and for Knowhere, it is for Black Cat. And for that reason is why I'm stressing that some of these characters probably should go to tier 18, right? Like, we know that when the first time it comes around, when you don't have 7 red stars on Nova or Black Cat, then your mark to hit is like 1.3 million. That's not too bad. But after you get 7 yellow stars on the character, you go to the winners milestones, which need 1.9 million points to max out. That is hard. So the bigger these teams are, the easier your life is going to be when you get to the grind for awakened abilities for Nova and Black Cat. So that kind of changed a lot of my thinking, right? That was probably the biggest alteration to the safe to build graphic, was the knowledge that We need 1.9 million. Eventually on these Scourges, everybody is going to want to get 1.9 million points, whether that be, soon for us endgame players or later for you other guys when it's going to be 6 months, 8 months, 1 year from now. You're going to need to get a much higher point total on these than previously because that's where the game is moving. They might even do that for the previous Scourges. I don't know what's going on, but I do know this, and I have to react accordingly. I wasn't going to take so much of Knowhere into Dark Dimension 6, but with that information, I was going to try to use a hybrid team. I was honestly going to try to get away with like Nova, Star-Lord Annihilation, and then 3 Sinister Six members, right? The guys I already had leveled up, but it's not going to work as well, and I'm going to be in trouble. Now, I put out a video yesterday on this channel. If you look like in the history of the channel, just go to yesterday's video. There's more information about this. There's probably going to be a lot more information about this on this channel. Hey, I didn't mention like and subscribe, right guys? All right, let's talk about Knowhere. Knowhere is best in war. Build it to level 95 and probably tier 18. We know we're putting tier 18 on Nova. You should definitely put tier 18 on Star-Lord Annihilation. He's a skill cosmic character. There's not many of those left, guys, for putting that for that skill gear. He's one of your best uses. Now, I'm also going to highly recommend Thor Infinity War to tier 18. Now, as for Korg and Cosmo, I might take Korg to gear tier 18, but that's really more specific to me. For everybody, I'm saying Nova, Star-Lord Annihilation, and Thor Infinity War is going to do the best for you. Other people, if you want to do Cosmo, if you want to do Korg, probably also not a bad idea. Like I said, 1.9 million points is going to be needed. How to unlock? Now we know Nova is this year's Scourge character, so you got to build up Masters of Evil to get him, and you got to wait for the Scourge to come around. He's a little tricky. Once again, I have that Scourge playlist on this channel. Make sure you check that out. Everybody else is too new, and they're not farmable yet. That was easy. Kind of like it when stuff isn't farmable. There's a lot of unfarmable stuff on this list. You sensing a trend? All right. As far as red stars, Nova's dark promo credits, and I don't even know if dark red stars are even important on Nova. Honestly, I just don't even care. Like, yeah, I got 7 red on them. I'm good. I don't see the point in putting 6 and 7 red stars on Nova. I think that's really, unlike last year where the Horseman team was arena meta, this year, I don't think this team is going to be arena meta. I don't think it's going to get a character. It's not going to get a character to tie them all together. So Black Cat is going to be arena meta. You're going to want 7 red stars on her. I'm jumping the gun, but I'm telling you, Black Cat is the one that needs 7 red stars for your dark promo credits, not Nova. And nobody else needs red stars either. All right, let's talk about Isotope 8 and keep this as a grain of salt. I have not locked these in yet, really. I haven't done Isotope level 4, Isotope level 5 on this. Skirmisher on Nova outside of war is good. Inside of war, Striker, because he gets extra focus in war, but he doesn't get that focus outside of war. So if you want him to be able to stun people, you probably need Skirmisher on him. Star-Lord Annihilation, I'm most confident in saying that Striker is really, really good on him. He's the same as Cloak, where his moves will put down a vulnerable and then he can assist himself. Like, how cool is that? I love that mechanic where the move will put down vulnerable and then he will exploit the vulnerable that he puts down on his first attack. That's just cool. So Striker on Star-Lord Annihilation, I can back that. I also think Striker on Thor Infinity Watch is a very good choice. And then Cosmo Skirmisher, Korg Skirmisher, I'm really just phoning it in there, guys. I don't have any secret sauce information on that. I just think the team needs some more vulnerables out there, and it does do a lot of counterattacks. So that's what I'm going with. I was thinking, like, you could also put Healer on Cosmo and Fortifier on Korg, but I just don't think there's any point in it. I might change that around. I'll know more about this after the Black Cat Scourge runs. Then Isotope 8 becomes really, really important, and you might see me switch it around. But for right now, these are the classes that I like. Speaking of new teams that I am not that solid on Isotope 8 on because I don't even have them unlocked yet, it's the Secret Defender team. Now, I have had some experience with this team on the test server, and that gave me some insight into it. But yeah, I don't have them unlocked yet. They're best everywhere. This is like one of the new best teams in the entire game. This is a team that you're going to definitely take to level 95, and you're going to want to put tier 18 on as much of it as you can. By that, I mean Miss Marvel Hardlight, Black Cat, and Ghost Rider Robbie. You also want 7 red stars on Miss Marvel Hardlight and Ghost Rider Robbie, and on Black Cat, even though those are dark promo credits and are going to take a little longer to get. Doctor Strange and Photon, I'm not as impressed with. I feel very lukewarm on, especially Doctor Strange. He is the Scarlet Witch. He sucks. You're going to put another character on this team other than him, and you're probably going to put another character on this team instead of Photon as well, except in certain game modes. There are some game modes where we use straight up teams, like that we don't normally use. Like when we had Darkhold in the arena, we wouldn't use it as full Darkhold in the arena, but then outside of arena, we would use full Darkhold. So that's probably what we're going to see here. If you're using this in Cosmic Crucible, if you're using this in War, then you're going to use like the full Secret Defender team. But if you don't have all your teams maxed out, a lot of mid-game players, a lot of new players, like you're going to have like to make choices, right? And there's always going to be better choices than Doctor Strange and Photon for this team. The core is Miss Marvel, Hardlight, Black Cat, and Ghost Rider Robbie. Get the red stars on them. Build them up to tier 18. Doctor Strange, definitely forget about him. And then Photon, I don't know. You want to take her in a dark dimension. There's worse things you can do, but I'm not really convinced to do it. As far as Isotope 8, I got Skirmisher on Doctor Strange, Photon, and Miss Marvel Hardlight, and I'm putting Striker on Black Cat and Ghost Rider Robbie. Once again, very new team. Take that with a grain of salt. I got to be transparent on that. Doctor Strange is farmable, which I guess makes sense why he's the character that kind of sucks on it. He's on Mystic Forces 2-9. However, I don't think he changes around my beginner player strategy. I don't think this is good for new players. Like, oh, go build Doctor Strange. I'm like, I don't know. I guess build Doctor Strange. But it's not as exciting as it was when like Captain America was on Rebirth. Like that was way more exciting than Doctor Strange being on this team. It's really kind of a non-issue. All right. We'll learn more about Secret Defenders as time goes on. Make sure you stay tuned to this channel for it. And let's move on to the next team. From one of the newest cutting edge teams to a team from last year that's still holding up okay. It's Unlimited X-Men. And yeah, it's still valid in Cosmic Crucible. It still does good work in Cosmic Crucible, but that's kind of about it. Maybe it'll play a place in our upcoming wars with the new changes that we're getting to mutants on defense. I think Rogue is going to be a really good character there. So is Gambit. They are definitely the standout members of the team, but it is an aging team. I would still build them to level 95 for Cosmic Crucible. As far as red stars, Rogue's probably the best dark promo credit character from last year, right? Like she's like the best Horseman character other than Apocalypse. Apocalypse is of course the supreme member of the, Horseman team, but Rogue definitely better than Morgan Le Fay, Red Hulk, and I don't know, you can make an argument for Red Hulk, but definitely better than Archangel. So there's worse places to put your dark promo credits now. Do you need 7 red on Gambit? No. Is it fun? Yes. If it's not working, it's a great thing to do. As far as the rest of the team, they do not need red stars. I was going to put 7 red stars on Dazzler and Sunfire, but I decided, no, they're doing fine the way they are. For Isotope 8, I like Skirmisher on Rogue, Raider on Gambit, Striker on Phantom X, Skirmisher on Dazzler, and Striker on Sunfire. We do have some farmability here. Rogue is available via a Scourge. They're about to change that up. I mentioned that earlier in the video. Gambit, it's available in the Cosmic Crucible store. He's probably one of the better Cosmic Crucible characters. Phantomix is on a hard node. He is farmable, but it's later on in the game, and I don't know how great stars. You could probably live your whole life without ever even unlocking Phantomix, but he is on Villains Hard Mode 3-3 if you want to go farm him there. Dazzler is available on a hard node as well, node 6-9, and she's also in the War Supply store, although I would not spend war credits on her. I would rather farm other characters in there or even gear. Sunfire is available. I believe that's in the Blitz Orb. Yes, he's available in that Blitz Orb and soon to be available with Blitz credits. So that's kind of nice. He's kind of easy to get. And this is a great team to farm for Magneto. If you want to go get Magneto, these are some of the best characters to farm to do that. Oh, how the mighty have fallen, and Tangled Web is a good example of that. Man, power creep is coming in hard on this team. They're still good in Cosmic Crucible, but that's all they're good for now. They've been kicked out of the arena. Build them to level 95? I don't know. Like I said, look, on the Safe to Build graphic, the lower down they are in their section, the less I see value in them. So I'm really kind of running out of reasons to back Tangled Web, and I've never had a reason to back Knowhere. I've removed him from the chart entirely. There's no point to him. It's Spider-Weaver and 2099. They are the active members of the team. Spider-Weaver has some extra value in that, you know, you can use her to go get Apocalypse. And you can use her for the global section of Dark Dimension 6. I know a lot of people like her for that, but I don't like the fact that she uses Mystic Gear, so I'm not backing her in that way. I use Striker on Spider-Weaver, Skirmisher on Spider-Man 2099, and who cares about Spider-Man Knowhere? But if you did, I guess you could put Striker on him. Spider-Weaver is not really farmable, right? Yeah, she's not farmable, so that's not fun, although they did mess up and give out a whole bunch of her shards last year, so all of us who are around have her at 7 stars, but the rest of us don't. Would I still put 7 red on her? No, it's actually aged kind of horribly. It's cool to have 7 red on her, but no, it's no longer a thing. Spider-Man 2099, he is actually farmable in Crucible supplies, so yeah, you might as well grab him because he definitely makes Spider-Weaver much better. Spider-Man Knowhere, I don't even care. He's available on a node, and I think I stopped farming it. I absolutely actually stopped farming Spider-Man Knowhere because I just don't care anymore. I don't even want him to have a 7th yellow star out of spite because he did me so dirty. I thought it was going to be a really cool character. I'm really excited. I love the character design, love the character concept. I love everything about the character other than the fact that they do nothing in this game. Let's move on. Oh boy, it's New Warriors, everybody. Another dying team. I know you heard it here first. I'm normally ahead of the curve when I say that a team is dying, okay? And this team is dying. I know it's not dead. It's got like a good 3 to 6 months of Cosmic Crucible dominance in it. But then we're going to see it start to drop off. Look, if you notice on my graphic, War Dogs Wakanda ain't here no more, guys. It's done. It's over. They're actually killing these Cosmic Crucible teams faster than I thought they would, and I think they're doing it in the name of theory crafting. I don't know. That's my tinfoil hat theory, but there it is. It's just not as good as it used to be, and I don't know if it's worth building anymore. Best in Cosmic Crucible. You can build it to level 95. I don't know if I'm ever going to get to build Gwenpool. I don't know if she's ever going to be important. I have been using this team without Gwenpool the entire life of the team. It has won every single war attack, every single Cosmic Crucible attack it's ever made. It's never needed Gwenpool. Omega Red or Nova fits in there way, way better. But do whatever you want, guys. As far as Isotope 8 classes, I go with Striker on Deathpool, Striker on Dagger, Skirmisher on Cloak, and Raider on Firestar. Now that would change if I had Gwenpool because she changes the order the characters go in. So I don't know. I'm thinking Raider on Gwenpool, but then you could put Striker on Firestar. It messes everything up, but the way I use it, these are the isotopes that I use, and I don't use Gwenpool. Now as far as farmability, Deathpool is not hard farmable. However, she's not featured in the premium orb anymore. She's in the milestone orb. Her and Kestrel are in the milestone 3 orb, so you should get her over time. She's kind of decently farmable. And then Dagger is available on Villains hard mode for 6. She wasn't on hard mode the whole time, was she? She's in the arena store, so that's good. You can pick her up there. That's a little easier to get a hold of her. And then Cloak is available on Villains hard mode to 6. He's also available in the raid supplies. He comes out of the Alpha Raid Orb as well, which is nice. I don't know, man. They're not even fun as far as farmability goes. Firestar and Gwenpool are not farmable, and I do not care I don't know, guys. Look, it's a limited time thing. New warriors are going to drop off. This is probably when I'll actually remake my beginner's guide video, is when new warriors fully drop off and I can no longer back them at all. We're getting very, very close to that point. Stop. Gamma time. All right, we're going to talk about Gamma, and they're good in Cosmic Crucible still. I've kind of moved them over to defense, and they're still really good in war. Although they're being hard countered now by Secret Defenders, so they're definitely going to be dropping their stock there. I would still build Red Hulk to level 95. The rest of them, though, can stop at level 90 for the Apocalypse requirement, and it's just not what it used to be. As far as Isotope 8, Striker on Red Hulk, Striker on Hulk, Skirmisher on everybody else. Farmability, you get Red Hulk through the Scourge nodes. Hulk is actually pretty available. He comes through the achievements. You get him for free in about like 60 days of play, give or take. Abomination is available in the Cosmic Crucible supply store. Brawn, we finally got him on the Blitz store. I mean, we actually have a pretty decent team for new players here outside of getting Red Hulk, so it's not bad. And then She-Hulk is the most available of all of them. She is just sitting there on Villains Hard mode. Wait, they moved her? All right, she's in the Blitz supply store, and she's on Villains Hard mode 7.6. I guess being in the Blitz store and the War store. She's in the War store? I don't know about that. All right, anyways. There they are. It's Gamma. They're kind of past their prime. If you're really into war, then maybe this is still a team you want to take up to level 95. But if you're not, like if you just are kind of a regular player, then build them for Apocalypse, use them as much as you can, and move on. Speaking of old teams that we used to need to build up to get Apocalypse, that we still need to build up to get Apocalypse, it's Darkhold. I guess they still got uses in Cosmic Crucible. They're a better Cosmic Crucible offense team than War Dogs, so there's that. They still got that going for them. Plus, they have a lot of utility in War, still being one of the most meta teams in this game. Since it was an arena team, arena teams usually hold their value a little longer than other teams. I would build Morgan Le Fay to level 95. The rest of them at level 90 is probably going to be absolutely okay, and you probably don't even need to build Scarlet Witch. I would put Skirmisher on Morgan Le Fay, Striker on Doctor Strange, Striker on Wong, Skirmisher on Scarlet Witch, and Skirmisher on Agatha Harkness. As far as farmability, you got the Morgan Le Fay Scourge, Doctor Strange Heartless. We have a pretty farmable team right now, don't we? They're not that bad. He's on Villains Hard Node 5.9. He's also in the Arena store. Is he available for credits yet? I think you can buy him for credits now, so that's good. That might be new. I don't think you could have done that in my last unlock guide, so that's nice. He's a little more available. Actually, a really good new player team. Wong is going to be available on Heroes Hard Mode 1.3, and that's what kind of messes it up. Is like Wong you can't get at until you're level 70, and by the time you're level 70, is it really that important anymore? I don't know. Scarlet Witch is available, but who really cares? She's in the Arena store. I would rather get Doctor Strange Heartless. And then Agatha, she's finally farmable, right? She's in Crucible supplies. Oh, thank God. Agatha is finally farmable. This is the first time in a unlock guide, and I've been doing these for like 2 years, where Agatha Harkness is finally farmable. Praise the powers that be. Oh my God. Okay, there it is. As far as red stars, and I forgot to talk about red stars about Gamma, but I don't care. I don't care about red stars on Gamma. I don't really care about red stars on Darkhold as well. I think the only members you would put red stars on between Gamma and Darkhold are Morgan Le Fay and Red Hulk, and that costs Dark promo credits. And like I was saying, the more important members are going to be Apocalypse and Morgan Le Fay. And the team you might end up using is like the Horseman team. We're still not really there yet, so I'm not going to cover it in this video. But there is a point in Marvel Strike Force where all of the Horseman members fall off, and what we're left with is Apocalypse, Morgan Le Fay, Archangel, Red Hulk, and Rogue as a team, as the only version of that team. There's a time where that's going to happen. We're not there yet. We're still taking Apocalypse and putting him on more meta teams and leaving these teams intact. But there is definitely, I mean, in the arena, it's still kind of that way. But that arena meta is all about to go. That's one of the reasons why it was time to make a new unlock guide, is because our new arena meta is here. And Darkhold really isn't a part of it at all. Thank you so much for watching to this point. We've covered all of the meta teams. Now we need to go pick up some spares. We need to grab these extra characters that don't quite fit on teams, that are more plug and play characters. And yeah, this is it, guys. This is why people complain about Theorycraft and Marvel Strike Force, because these are really our plug and play characters. I don't know, maybe you got some other favorites down below, but these are the guys that don't have teams, right? So I would recommend, there is definitely a case to taking all these characters to tier 18, right? The only two that I'm taking to tier 18 are Apocalypse and Super Skrull. But people that are taking Kestrel to tier 18, Quicksilver to tier 18, and Spider-Man Big Time to tier 18, they have valid points. There's nothing wrong with it. It's absolutely a valid path to go, but it changes what you're doing, right? It changes the other characters you're going to bring, because you're using gear, using Mystic gear for Quicksilver. Spider-Man Big Time is not going to do well in the tech section of Dark Dimension 6. However, he is tech, and we have that gear to throw around. If you're not willing to wait for the tech raid team, then you could put that gear on Spider-Man Big Time. If you're really into war and need him for war defense because your alliance is pushing that, then it makes sense for that as well, because the bigger the Spider-Man Big Time, the harder it is to beat that team. So Kestrel is just kind of like a sunk cost fallacy kind of thing. Like, hey, we're already there at tier 17. I'm still getting some use out of her here, there, or where. I'm not really getting use out of Kestrel anymore. She's on the bench for me in all game modes, but I wanted to put her down here just for completion's sake, because I know that certain people in certain levels of the game are using her still. Now, it's interesting that all of these plug and play characters are strikers. For me, it's striker for everybody, except you see I haven't built Quicksilver or Spider-Man Big Time, so take that with a grain of salt. And then for Super Skrull, actually, I found in testing him on the test server, if you want that footage, look down below, or look in the what you need to know playlist for Super Skrull, where I have some test server footage. I found Raider was actually good for him, and everyone was like, oh wow, finally a plug and play character that isn't a striker, finally like the best character in the game. That is not a striker, because most of the best characters in the game we set down as strikers. That's just the way they're set up. They're set up to deliver the death blow, and for that you usually want striker as the class. So Kestrel's available to farm via the Milestone 2 orb. You get her in Death Pool out of there at a decent probability. Quicksilver comes to you through Cosmic Crucible rewards. I actually have enough shards on him to put him at 7 yellow. I just haven't bothered to do it yet. Spider-Man Big Time, we're getting shards of him through the raid season. Apocalypse is a total pain in the butt to unlock, but you probably know that. He actually has his own set of characters you have to build up. I got videos on that on my channel as well about the correct order to do that in. That's also out there. And that's about it, really, guys. There it is. That is the unlock guide. Thank you so much for checking this out. If it's the first time you're on the channel, once again, I do encourage you to like this video, subscribe, share it around with your friends. If you got any value out of this, let me know down in the comments below. And grave diggers, keep digging.